Hello, dear people. There are many stories about plane crashes, but today I will introduce you to one that is little known yet quite interesting. The events took place in Europe, in the country known for John Atanasoff, the kidnapper of Charlie Chaplin's body. The mystery of the Bulgarian voices, the Thracians, yogurt, and many other things. The most mysterious plane crash, many prominent Bulgarians die. Iliyana Raeva narrowly escapes death! The plane crashes near the village of Tlachene in the Vratsa Region, and all 73 people on board perish. Exactly 48 years ago, on March 16, 1978, the most mysterious and horrifying disaster in Bulgarian civil aviation occurred. According to official data, a Tu-134 on a regular flight from Sofia to Warsaw crashed at 13:52 near the village of Tlachene. All 73 people on board were killed. Among those who died were the coach of the national rhythmic gymnastics team, Julieta Shishmanova, her assistant Rumiana Stefanova, Albina Petrova, and Valentina Kirilova, the team pianists Snezana Mihailova, and Judge Sevdalina Popova. The gymnasts were traveling to a tournament in Poland, and Iliyana Raeva was also supposed to board the plane. The current chairwoman of the Rhythmic Gymnastics Federation was only 15 years old at the time, but hours before the flight she developed a high fever of 40 degrees C. She did not travel, and her reserve, Albina Petrova from Varna, was called in her place. On March 15, 1978, it was my birthday. That evening I developed a very high fever, 40 degrees. I was in very bad condition. Doctors were called to my home. The next day, March 16, I had to travel to an international tournament in Poland. I had packed my luggage, everything was ready, but my father called Neshka that evening and said Iliyana has a 40-degree fever. She cannot travel. Then they called Albina Petrova from Varna, my reserve. On the morning of March 16, I felt fine, but the documents were already at the Federation, and there was no way for me to go. Then the crash happened. Fate. I want you to know that until the end of my life, I will never be able to thank my fate enough. Raeva recounts in 2018, marking the 40th anniversary of the tragedy. On the ill-fated aircraft, there was also a Polish government delegation led by the Minister of Culture Jerzy Wilhelm, brother of the well-known actor Roman Wilhelm. The impact in the bed of a local ravine was also fatal for the Bulgarian junior football team and the Polish junior basketball team. A few years later, with funds from relatives of the victims, the first monument in Bulgaria dedicated to victims of a plane crash was built near the site of the tragedy. From here on, however, the uncertainties begin. The strangest thing is that almost all those who died in this tragedy are, to this day, said to be expected to return. That is what the prophet Vanga reportedly said at the time, specifying that they would return by water. There is also a version that the people were abducted for secret experiments. The alleged dirty operation was supposedly organized by the American billionaire Armand Hammer. The plane was allegedly sent to a test site on Mururoa Island in the Pacific Ocean for nuclear experiments, and the passengers were subjected to high doses of radiation. To mislead, Another plane was supposedly blown up over the villages of Gaber and Tlachene. Days after the crash, radio operators from a coastal naval base near Varna received an encrypted radiogram. "We are alive," with white hair and green epaulettes. An address in Varna was also given where the information should be delivered. When the sailors went there, they discovered that the address belonged to the parents of gymnasts who had died in the crash near Tlachene. Only an hour after the incident, in its 300 p.m. news broadcast, Belgrade radio announced an aircraft with unidentified markings flew over the territory of Yugoslavia. To this day, no one can say anything more about this mysterious aircraft. After 1990 began the long ordeal of the parents, who wrote letters to every possible institution in an attempt to determine the causes of the mysterious crash. Even the efforts of the Human Rights Commission of the Grand National Assembly were in vain. According to the official version, no one survived. The plane crashed due to a failure in the electrical system. Allegedly, as part of an investigative experiment, a military aircraft was blown up over Tlachene. A shepherd from a nearby village, Christo Dinkin, claimed to have seen with his own eyes the pilot ejecting. Shortly afterward, however, he died of old age. An amateur photographer from the nearby village of Gaber managed to capture two aircraft on the day of the crash over the same area. One was smaller and flying lower, in the shadow of the other. The photographer still keeps the negatives in his archive, but believes that the time has not yet come to publish them. The same two aircraft were reportedly seen by another local resident working as a blaster in the quarries near Tlachene. This witness, however, later blew himself up by accident. At the crash site, investigators found documents belonging to a person who had not even been on the flight, and this fact also remains unexplained. According to villagers who later helped clean the area, the passenger plane had no seats. They found many clothes, parts of children's bicycles, letters, martini cue, but not a single piece of a seat. This seemed quite strange for a passenger aircraft with 73 people on board. The plane suddenly deviated from its course and changed direction, according to the control tower. The Tu-134 sharply veered west and disappeared from the radars of the flight controllers in Sofia. They recall that this happened completely unexpectedly. At an altitude of 4,900 meters, the team supervisor noticed that the aircraft suddenly headed straight west. He ordered the crew to immediately report their course. No response was received. It is considered possible that the plane and its passengers fell victim to a terrorist act. Whether an explosive device had been placed on board, or the aircraft suddenly lost altitude due to a struggle between the crew and terrorists, remains a complete mystery. It is a fact, however, that the pistols of the two pilots were missing. It is also unexplained why the commander, Yordan Yordanov, was not in the cockpit at the time, but in the passenger cabin. Pathologist Yordan Kalchev, could the pilot have wanted to commit suicide? On March 16, 1978, we were dispatched very quickly to the crash site, recalls Associate Professor Dr. Yordan Kalchev. The head of the commission reporting to the Central Committee was Prof. Popvasilev. The crash area was about 1 square kilometer. We found many bones, severely shattered. The largest body fragment was about 17 kilograms, somewhere from the pelvic region, but we could not determine whether it belonged to a man or a woman. No muscles were found. All softer tissues had been scattered into thousands of particles. We wrote the death certificates based on flight documents. There was nothing burned. The engines had been thrown 2 kilometers away, which shows that the aircraft struck the ground at full speed. For me, this is inexplicable. Perhaps the pilot wanted to commit suicide, concludes the pathologist. The remains looked as if they had been deliberately smashed with a hammer. The former mayor of Tlachene, Nencho Sonev, is the only one who witnessed the crash. Mr. Sonev, tell us what happened that day. It was a sunny day, and I was just heading toward the Shepherds when I heard the plane, and seconds later I saw it. First it turned toward Borovin, then circled toward the village of Nivyanin. The explosion was terrible. Did you see only one plane? I'm not sure. At that moment I wasn't thinking about that at all. I saw the plane falling and was stunned. Immediately after it exploded, I ran toward it. Did anything particularly strike you? The wreckage was as small as my little finger. The people seemed to have been chopped into pieces smaller than my fingers. Watches, coins, everything looked as if smashed with a hammer. The aircraft had disintegrated into thousands of particles. Were you asked to search for the black box? Yes, we searched for a whole week. We combed the area centimeter by centimeter, but in vain. I even arranged for an excavator, but there was no result. Was there any fire at the crash site? No, there was no fire, no signs of burning. Editor's note: the plane's tank contained 11.5 tons of kerosene, and it crashed into the ravine at 850 tonnage. Under such circumstances, there should inevitably have been a fire, experts comment.